Hello there.
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
So, what has been going on lately with you?
Well, depending when you're listening to this, when this comes out, uh, today is the day for people in the United Kingdom to go out and vote for the local representative, known as an MP, representing one of the few parties in the United Kingdom.
Ah, okay, got you. So, did you go out and vote?
I already voted. I voted via postal, which came in a few weeks in advance.
Ah, nice, nice. I wonder who Risk voted for.
Well, he has said in the chat for a few weeks, and honestly, I don't care if people know about this, but I'd say that me and Risk would have agreed to the same party to vote for.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, voting is just, yeah, vote. Yeah, voting is pretty much just something different. I'm not gonna lie. I think like out of all the time, out of the time I've been an adult, I've never really voted at all, just because I either didn't want to or feel like it, or I just knew that the person I was gonna vote for wasn't even gonna win.
But
Like
the
for
thing is, if everyone had that mentality, then who's to say an outcome would have been different if a lot of people went out and vote for who they think would do a job that would benefit their country?
That's actually a pretty good point. That's actually a really good point. And I don't think voting is in yet. I don't think voting it's time to vote yet, but that is a pretty good point. And because I'll be honest. Like there are people who want Trump, most people who want Trump, and there are other people who want Biden. And I don't think there's really that many who want Biden anymore after his performance on the debate. But you know who I want?
RFK?
Pretty much, yeah. Because he seems like the most. He actually seems like a better choice, in my opinion. He's actually a pretty decent. Seems like a decent person. He seems like he actually cares about like the people and about everybody. I mean, he was a Democrat at one point, but even that party, I'm pretty sure they turned on him, so he became an independent. And second president,
Yeah.
if he were to win, he'd be the second president in history to be an independent and win. If he was winning, if he, yeah, if he did win, I meant.
Yeah. That is a good point.
Yeah, I mean, like he makes great points, and I believe like he could do the job, and I don't. And here's the thing: I don't believe like Robert F. Kennedy is compromised. Yes, does he like support Israel? Yes, he does. But I really don't care, man, because at the end of the day, I don't hate Israel whatsoever at all. I don't really hate anybody. Does he?
Yeah.
I mean, like and do some people say like Israel killed his father? Yes, but I mean, at the end of the day, either he's aware of that, but he still supports them, or he isn't aware of that whatsoever. I'm not even sure if that's actually true, but it is what it is at the end of the day. But
We don't know until it's too late.
exactly, we won't know until it's too late, and I would say like everything in the dark comes to light eventually, and you know that will come to light eventually if it's true.
Yes.
Because I don't really put on any assumptions, and for the most part, I don't really blame the people of Israel. I just blame the guy. Like whatever is going on in Israel that is corrupted, I just blame the government because like at the end of the day, it is the government, it is the people higher up and higher up there who's like making themselves look bad. And I'd say like anybody in any state, if they're high up in that and they're high up, they'll make themselves look bad regardless. So at the end of the day, it's all about the government. It's not even about the people,
Yeah.
and
So true.
it's all about who runs, and it's all about who's running the show. Um, you said it. You said at one point, like we're actors, and and this is a whole movie.
Yes. The world is a stage. You're either watching it or you're part of the performance. And yeah, there's lots of controls. There's a lot of controllers and opportunities to come afterwards once you gain enough recognition amongst the masses and develop a new storyline for another stage and people watch that. They applaud you or boo you depending on how the mainstream or legacy media see you, and the cycle repeats itself. You get more opportunities based on the contribution you provide in the story in that is our lives.
Yeah.
I just took a look at some of the candidates for reform, right?
Go on.
Take a look at it. Go onto their website, take a look at their candidates, and look at some of them, right? Some of them look like they've just been posted. They don't even have an act. It doesn't even look like they've got. They don't. Some of them are not even showing pictures, right? It's just doing a description 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Some of these candidates, right? I don't even think they exist.
Okay.
And there are some, right? But there are some, right? That I don't even think they have a guy in place. They're literally. They don't even look like they've been managed properly, right? The districts. I don't even think they've. Some of them, the seats that they've done. I don't even think they've even campaigned effectively. Some of them, to be quite honestly, some of them I question are some of them not AI, or like are they planning on using AI with some of them, right? Because there's no picture, there's not a description in some of them. Luckily, my candidate looks like it's a real person, but there are some of them.
Them aren't real people.
Some of them I question are they even real people?
Oh.
Because they're not even showing a profile pic. They don't even really have a subscription. They don't even really have a description.
Speaking of which, Risk, what did you think about that debate between Biden and Trump?
I thought Trump freaking annihilated them. And if any, I can't believe there's Democrats still saying he should run. He should run. If I were them, I would be saying, "Fucking resign, you fucking old geezer."
I'm not
or we'll get rid of you.
You know what I found out? I found out that Robert wasn't even invited to that debate either.
What, Robert F. Kennedy?
Yeah.
Of course they wouldn't. It's Britain and America are like the same, right? Nigel was never Farage was never allowed to those parties.
Yeah, it's like
any of those debates, right? But I think he's going to do extremely well.
Yeah, it's like, here's the thing, bro. It's like
But I question some of these candidates. I don't even think they're real, which is concerning.
I mean, hey, man, like, you know.
How many of those Labour candidates are actually real, though? Let's be real.
I mean, what?
The thing is with these candidates, right? They don't even give you a real description. None of them barely have any social media presence, apart from some, right?
Right.
I suppose so, yeah.
Again, what's saying that we could not just make these as fake people? Because people will vote simply just on party. They won't vote simply on look at the person's character, right? I didn't really know much about Joe Hart or the supposed candidate, right?
But the thing is, though, if we were to create these fake candidates, and for some reason, the majority of the people per constituency vote for that fake candidate, what happens then? How would that fake candidate represent themselves?
They'll hire an actor to play the role.
You mean just like the actor that a lot of people are saying that pretended posed as a Reform UK politician and say whatever that gets people riled up and triggered?
Yes.
That is a point. That's certainly a point there.
You don't think that guy was literally paid to do that by Nigel to try and stir up hate, try and maybe get more votes? Possibly. Who knows? Did you look into your candidate in that?
Yeah, so the candidate in my constituency also doesn't have a picture, but there is an email.
Does it have the thing with like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the description?
Yeah, constituency information, electorate 76971.
Who's saying that's not like a fake candidate? But the thing is, these candidates, these local candidates, do we ever see them debate?
Well, there are lots of candidates going around campaigning, so it's very hard to keep track who's who and what they're doing these days. But to know if they're real or not, it's good. It's a good measure to search them up online and look at previous pictures of these candidates that would prove whether they're real or not. It's just a good measure to put in.
Yeah, it's a pretty good measure. Hello?
I'm sorry, I'm searching out my candidate right now. She has a Twitter account, and yes, I see her picture. Okay, she's not bad. She looks pretty decent. Not attractive, but certainly not ugly either. So she's all right.
Not attractive, but not like pretty much mid. Mid.
Yeah, mid, but upper mid.
Okay, upper mid.
I'll give it that.
Like 7.5.
7.5, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe an 8.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair.
But looking at her Twitter account, I think it's private. These posts are protected.
What's her
So,
what's her Twitter? I want to check. I kind of want to check her out now.
Julie Fawcett.
Huh.
Do you know how to spell Fawcett?
Julie no.
Okay, FOU
FOU
SE
SET.
RT.
Oh, RT. All right. I'll look. All right. All right. Got the name down. I'll look her up a bit later on.
Yeah. And another thing, when people in the UK vote for their preferred MP candidates, most of them, not everyone, but most of them have an address that's outside the constituency that they represent.
You've also got to realize.
Oh, never mind. I see her. She's blonde, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She looks nice. She ain't bad.
You were saying Risk?
What were you saying?
So, we were talking about the Reform UK candidate for my constituency.
Yes.
She's all right, I guess.
You don't think she's secret? The thing is, though, what we're saying, people don't realize it, but our government is our election process is really corrupt, right?
Yeah, it only favors the big parties that has a strong baseline.
Not to mention the fact is that literally, realistically, when you run when in local districts, right, in America, right, do they have a lot of coverage?
What kind of coverage are you talking?
Like the local candidates, similar to what we're running, right? What the UK runs, right? Do they have any coverage, right? So what's to say that half those candidates are not even real people in America? If it's doing it in Britain, what's to say that not doing that in America, all around the world in the West?
That's a good point, Risk. Even if there are a few that aren't real, there will be at least a few amount, at least a minimum, a few
you could
amounts.
never get away with that I don't think you could get away with that at the actual big level, right? Big MP level, right?
Oh no, absolutely not.
But at this tiny little district level where they're little.
Yeah, that's definitely easy. No one pays attention to those kind of elections.
Yes. So you could rig them, effectively put them all in AI.
Yeah, and the thing is, not many media outlets will pay attention to those small local districts.
By design. So
Exactly.
effectively, they could yeah. So you and me you might eventually have voted for a shell company, an AI, effectively.
Possibly. However, looking at Twitter, I'm not saying it's real, but it's certainly not fake.
The thing with
I'll put it like that. Go on.
The thing with my one is, my voter thing, she doesn't seem to be even on Twitter.
Okay, you would be concerned then.
Yeah.
Mine does have like a Twitter account. So.
Oh well, what else?
I wonder what's up with that.
Mine's the
Again, they don't have power. That's the thing. The MPs don't really have power, do they? They all are beholden to the policies of the freaking Reform Party, right?
He said mine doesn't even seem to be on Twitter.
Yeah. Not saying she's on Facebook or not, but that is a little bit concerning, ain't it?
Yeah.
Why the campaign? Why the fuck are you on social media?
Oh, also, she also has an Instagram. So
she does.
Yeah.
I'm assuming with the kids also she's married.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Or
the thing is though with the candidate, the thing with it is though, like, the guys that were voting for, like the candidates that were in my constituency, they were really important people, I would say, in the Conservative Party. Like real big hitters, like very secure, very strong seats, or would have been if the Tories didn't fuck up. Like where I am, effectively, is districts of effectively the leader of the Scottish Tories. So Douglas Ross was my constituency. He was effectively going to be the Scottish Tory leader. Was effectively going to be my constituent. Effectively, was going to be a constituent of him, effectively.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Who knows?
I doubt that Joe Hart's got enough votes to win anyway. So it's not. I very much doubt Reform's going to win any seats in the Northeast, if I'm being honest.
Fair enough. I think the best Reform can do is
I think
one is
I don't know if
Farage,
they will win seats. I think there's a lot of people voting Reform.
but it just won't be enough. It just won't be enough, though.
It won't be enough, though. A lot of people are going to vote for it, but there won't be enough. They'll probably rig votes. I took a pen.
Yeah, that's a smart move. If you vote with a pen, it'll be very hard for your vote to be changed, regardless who was responsible for counting.
Unless they don't count it.
Yeah, that too.
Will that lead back to me, though? Probably. They basically took the reg. Would that lead back to me? Would it? There's tons of people voting with a pen, though.
Yeah.
All around the thing.
Huh. I think
They even told Reform people write with a pen.
Huh.
They even said, "I'm going to write Trump's name in with a freaking marquee."
Yo, John, mate, it seems like your candidate like deleted some tweets. I don't.
Huh.
Yeah, like I don't know what she deleted, but someone said, seriously, Julie, like, are you being for real right now? And someone said cult, and someone said great day canvassing, did pretty well. Okay, I don't know. She seemed like she deleted some things.
They all do that, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like,
she
if
also
I'm
has a
running for
Pinterest.
government, Eric, I would have to delete some of my
Okay.
tweets because some of my tweets are too out there.
Like if we
I would never be able to get elected as a constituent with some of my tweets.
I'll be honest. I think
That's a good point.
I think the Sun in the Mirror, Daily Mirror, and Washington and the Times would have a fucking hurrah if I ran for government.
I think
Hurrah!
Tweets.
I think I should be fine because I just tweet about. I don't really tweet about.
I've tweeted shit about, like, literally stuff about. I questioned WW2 and Hitler.
I'll be honest. I just
narratives. And I've also tweeted posts about question Anne Frank.
I mostly just tweet about God and like repost stuff about God too. So I should be.
Yeah, I'm probably never going to run for government, but stuff. What can a local official do, really? There's fuck all power.
I think I did delete most of the stupid things I tweeted, so I think I should be fine.
I'm not worried about it, but
She also has a Pinterest, apparently.
Kids should be kids. Basically, Sneeko was doing an interview with this guy that apparently basically thinks it's okay to fuck 13-year-olds effectively.
Yeah, Muhammad Hijab.
How the fuck is he even cancelled?
I don't know. But like, yeah, it's like, he was pretty much defending like that, and I'm like, yikes. It's like that's why. Here's the thing. I say this, man, and
you guys think that Labour will get a supermajority?
Yes.
Yeah.
You think that Reform will do extremely well in some districts?
I'm hoping
they'll do decently. They will get a few seats, but again,
how much seats do you think they'll reasonably get? Do you think they'll get 10?
At best, it'll be a 10, but I'm guaranteed.
I haven't seen.
I'm certain at least 3.
I didn't see a lot of people turn out, at least when I was voting. Right, but that's not saying there was tons of people in the morning.
Yeah, they could wait till late in the evening when people won't realize or see that people have gone out voting. It's like an incognito thing.
Who's voting in Islington North? Because apparently, is Jeremy Corbyn still an MP?
Yeah, he's running independently.
Why doesn't he join Reform?
Because Jeremy Corbyn is not on the right. He has left-wing views. So
what's his left-wing views?
I do think I'm not sure exactly, but if you're genuinely curious, I suggest you look at Jeremy Corbyn back when he was a Labour leader up for the 2019 election against the Conservatives with Boris Johnson as the leader. I think that's the biggest highlight in Jeremy Corbyn's career, in my opinion, in my lifetime at least. I think for me that's more than enough for you to know about Jeremy
How much
Corbyn.
seats do you think Reform will get?
At least 3.
I think there's people both thinking they'll get 18 at top, and at least 13 max.
Yeah, but the majority of people saying that Reform would get those seats. It's very close. It's close margins, like 1-2%. At least 3 is like a few percentage points higher than we would expect. Those
How much
seats
seats
with
do you think Conservatives will get?
I'm certain anything that is less than 100 for the Tories is Armageddon.
I think they'll get 50.
I am certain they should at least get 100. That's what they
If
have to
Reform
get.
get a decent amount of seats, right, and they flip a decent amount of targets, right? What if Reform and the Tories join together to form a coalition that can outpace, but has enough votes to take majority power?
Well, I think the Tories would want to collaborate with Reform if the Tories do not do very well. Like it has to be very bad for the Tories to be very desperate to work with Reform.
Honestly, if you guys were in that position, what would you guys do? What party would you guys run for?
Jamie, you go first.
So, if you haven't noticed already, my constituency uh, is it's not a stronghold, but it is a safe seat for Labour. So
Nothing is safe. Anybody can freaking. Nothing is safe. It takes a true wrecking ball candidate for him to do it, but I don't think everything's safe. No seat is safe. What do you think the chances are?
not
Sunak
unless they
loses
screw
his
up
seat?
so badly.
What's the chances that Sunak loses his seat and gets ousted? What's the chance that literally a lot of these guys lose their seats?
So I'm pretty sure like the few prominent MP candidates are guaranteed to lose seats to either Labour, some through Liberal Democrats, and there's at least one prominent MP candidate that will lose to Reform.
I question if my seat might not flip to Lib Dem.
Well, that is possible. Labour
There's a
aren't the
lot
only
of.
party that's got making gains. Lib Dems are making gains as well in the South, especially.
Do you think the Lib Dems? Do you think how bad is Lib Dem? Are they more Do you think Reform and Do you think Lib Dem would form a coalition with Reform, or are they too left wing?
The thing is, historically, Lib Dems are a centrist party. However, more recently, for this election, they're shifting more to the left. And as for Labour, although historically centre-left, they shifted more towards the centre. So Labour and Lib Dems have pretty much switched place on the political spectrum.
Who's likely to freaking do a coalition? Supposedly the SDP's in a coalition with Reform. So a vote for the SDP is effectively a vote for Reform if a candidate.
I don't think the SNP leader appreciates the politics of Nigel Farage. I don't think that deal will ever get through.
I said SDP, not SNP.
Ah, right, SDP. Okay, that makes sense.
I think Social Democrats.
Social Democrat.
Even though I don't think Reform's about Democrats. British, Iranian, Jewish nationalist, Zionist, constitutional monarchist. I'm not absolutely sure I want her on the team. She's a Zionist.
Who?
This woman, apparently she voted for Reform.
Okay.
So you think Reform is gonna in for the win, or do you think something is gonna happen?
I don't think they're winning. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they'll do extremely well.
Yeah, they will get seats.
They're effectively our version of MAGA.
All right, I may or may not vote this year, but I'm not gonna vote for Trump. I'm not gonna vote for Biden either. I know he's probably not gonna win, but
Who Trump's not going to win?
Oh no, I'm talking about Kennedy.
If you vote for who you think you want to vote with.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Trump
is a Zionist. Let's be real. He's a Zionist. But so is Kennedy. He's a Zionist as well.
Yeah, except he's
They're all Zionists.
Except he's independent. So I don't see him as
the independents will never. It's like the libertarians. The libertarians will never be able to never go anywhere. They might get a couple votes, right? But they're never going to win an election.
Mm.
Trump, who knows?
You know, it's crazy. It's ironic because I'm not gonna lie. The exact same colors that represent this country, red, white, and blue, are separated because of a dumb political party. It's like, shouldn't we bring them all together?
Yeah, that's what will happen.
It's like, you know, people want the country to be red. People want the country to be
The
blue.
thing with this is people. The thing is that who knows if actually, for all we know, Nigel Farage could be the Antichrist, or he could be a betrayer in sheep's clothing. He could be a WEF member. I think all of them. I think Net Reform could be a WEF member, but I like their policies. I want net migration down.
I think
I want us to invest in our farmland, and I want literally us to grow more produce. And I want to get rid of the net zero fucking bullshit. Whether he does it or not is the question. I think the Lib Dems will fucking. I think Labour and Conservative will fuck that up somehow, like they always do. But
I think
you know,
I think as for like an Antichrist, bro, we're not gonna know who the person is. So it's like, I'm not gonna just flat out call people an Antichrist because
I'm not gonna call him an Antichrist. I don't think.
yeah, because it's like in reality,
I do feel like I do feel that
it's not even just because I don't want to be mean. It's just like because we legitimately.
we honestly don't know who it is, but we do know that the Antichrist is real.
Yeah, well, regardless,
We need to look at where the Jewish money is, right? Because Jewry and the Jews are basically where Zionists and the Jews are effectively what brings back to the Antichrist. Because they try and deny that they killed Jesus when they did kill Jesus. They're the sole reason for Jesus being dead. Nobody else wanted to kill Jesus. The Roman gladiator didn't want. The Roman governor didn't want to kill Jesus. He knew the guy was innocent, but he did it because he washed himself of his sins. Just like Judas, he stabbed him in the back for 30 silver. And then eventually the Jews asked. Then eventually this guy, there was a trial, right? He asked the people, do you want me to should we free Damicus or should we free Jesus Christ of Nazareth? And they chose the other guy, and then condemning him to his fate of death.
Yeah, but
Well, I don't know if it was Damicus, but I do know that they basically set a guy free, right, to taunt him.
I mean, yeah. It's like, you know, for one, I gotta say this. Yeah, you're right. You know, the Jews who did not believe on Jesus' name, they definitely did kill him, and you know
They say, and yet they take credit, for but the fact that all the Goyim worship the Goyim worship a Jew. You stabbed this bloke in the back. You killed him. You have the right to claim. You have the balls to say, "Oh, he's one of us. He's one of us." No, you killed him.
Yeah, no,
you sent him to his death.
Oh yeah, no, he was one.
He was one of them, but you sent him to his death.
Exactly.
You renounced any claim to him when you freaking off the guy, or sent the guy to his death, or crucified him.
Yeah, all because he claimed to be the son of God, bro. I mean, you know.
Some people in certain Eastern Orthodoxy, they believe he is God.
But
he's not God, though. He's not God, though. He's the son of God, or supposedly. Anyway, who knows if it's fully true or not?
Well, personally,
before the Romans did this, right? They used to vote.
Well, personally, like, you know, I used to just say he was the son of God too, and it's true. But you know, after reading, like, you know,
how many people do you think the Son has?
What?
Which Son?
Wait, what?
The Sun.
Are you still there?
The newspaper, The Sun, polled voters, right? And apparently, 70% want to vote for reform, 15% for Conservative, 9% for Labour, Lib Dem 2%, 20% for another party, right?
Okay.
Again, nobody's talking about the young vote. I think they'll be heavily surprised by how much votes reform gets.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot more young people out these days.
According to Mr. Farage, net zero is about charging us more money, controlling our lives and our behaviours. And in terms of the environment, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. You agree with Nigel Farage? It's about control. It's about taking control of the food supply. It's about stakeholder capitalism. It's about did you guys see that video I sent in the chat? Right?
Yeah.
Wait, no, maybe I didn't put it in, but maybe I'll share it in the chat again.
All right.
Basically talks about the fact that both of these parties, right, are WEF candidates. Why I hate both. Basically talks about the fact that Conservative and Labour are effectively both WEF puppets, and basically they're shareholder captains of state. I'm personally sure he wants to ban gender ideology in schools, cancel WHO membership, reject the WEF agenda, scrap net zero, close the borders, restore free speech, stop woke cancel culture. Do you support this agenda? Yes, but how many people? How many will the woke libs? Jamie,
Yeah.
how ironic would it be if reform were to get every district apart from London,
Wow.
like France? Then could it say, should we literally? I've been questioning, right? We all know all the wokeness, right? And the woke little shites, right? They're all in London, right? At some point, why don't we just make London? Why do we need to just renounce London and give it to them, right? And tell them.
You mean allow London to be its own thing?
Yes.
From the UK?
Yes. And we
Okay.
the rest of the Isles to ourselves. And then we
Yeah, I think
London
is big enough and financially stable enough to be its own country if it likes to.
London, the rest of the country, right? We either move, we move the rest of the country, and we make the capital of London. Who knows where we'd move the new capital though to? But
well, I think a lot of people would want to move the capital to Manchester, but I think I don't know. I think Manchester is the next biggest city, either Manchester or Birmingham for the UK's next capital if London becomes its own thing.
I think London should fucking leave. It's not even part of the Britain anymore. It's completely different.
I feel like London is its own thing.
Yes, let London be its own fucking country, and the UK can fricking have.
Yeah, London is its own melting pot of different cultures.
Yes, and we can be our own. I hope S&P don't get too much power because they'll vote to kick us out. They'll vote for us to leave the UK. I thought. Did you hear about the Ofcom thing with Reform?
What Ofcom?
The Channel 4 and then the whole thing with them trying to set some guy up.
Is this about the actor being paid to be a Reform UK politician?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about that ages ago.
Yeah, apparently the Ofcom's not going to investigate it. They're also mad the fact Reform's also mad the fact that GB News and the rest of them haven't really been giving them coverage, effectively, because they've been restricting the amount of coverage that they can.
Well, why doesn't GB News interview Reform UK? It's not like they're under chains of Ofcom or other mainstream British media.
USA won't be able to relate to this, but just 10 years ago, you could go an entire week in Ireland without seeing a foreigner. 20 years ago, you might not see one for a month. Now they're everywhere. What has happened to our country in an act of war? Nigel Farage, I was asked the other day what I was going to do for the black community. Do you know what I said? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I could give a damn if you're black, white, or gay, or straight. I really don't care. You'll be judged by your character, judged by your ability, and you'll be judged by your contribution to society. Martin Luther King, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the contrast of their character. And now we're hiring people basically based on their skin. Effectively. So, boy, was Martin Luther King wrong, sadly. But, did you hear about the part merit-based hiring? They're changing. A lot of companies are going back to merit-based hiring. So they're hiring people based on talent.
It helps with the standards. I have nothing against merit-based hiring.
Ban for army to at least 100,000 troops.
If this nation wants a strong economy, there has to be standards in the workplace.
The World Bank has classified Russia as a high-income country. Estimating the gross income per capita is 14,000 per year. We are waiting more Western sanctions.
Wow. Even when Russia has been sanctioned from multiple organizations and companies, Russia's still going strong, apparently. And I don't think anyone would want to talk about Russia in any extent. It just comes to show. Well, it got me thinking, how do they do it? Well, we'll never know. Until it's too late.
Italy raided factories and found that Armani and Dior bags are made by illegal Chinese workers in Italy who sleep in workshop and make £2 to £3 an hour. Both companies have been placed under Italian court administration. Dior paid a supply of 57 to assemble a handbag that sells for 2,000. Armani, that was sold to consumers for 1,800, cost 93 to make. They don't include raw material costs. People often wrongly conflate high prices for higher ethical standards. Raids find luxury handbags being made by exploited workers in Italy. Oh well, it's how it is. Do you want to talk about the exploited workers that mine cocoa and bananas for us rich people in freaking foreign countries? Do you want to talk about the slave labor effectively for mining oil in the Middle East?
I guess.
We want to talk about that stuff.
Who'd ever want to talk about that stuff? Yes, it's bad, but of course, it's bad enough as it is. People more focus on what's happening in their lives rather than everyone else's.
Things are changing fast. At my son's extra selective grammar school, they do an election event every year or two where the boys vote like they would if they were old enough to vote in national elections. Usually Lib Dem or Labour win. Last week Reform won by a landslide.
Wow. So what does that say about this country's politics?
It just means that that Nigel Farage is extremely well, and he's actually gotten into the brains of the freaking youngsters. So he actually might be able to make change, and he might actually be able to be a populist character, just like Trump appealed to the youngsters. Reform can appeal to the youngsters in Britain.
That might be the case. However, it is too soon right now, so don't get too excited yet, but it is a start.
On Dmitry Medvedev, Russian former Dmitry Medvedev, Russia's foreign minister and former Russian president. On July 4th, Americans are going to celebrate on this very day in 1776 the Declaration of Independence, where they effectively became a slave of Great Britain. The usual set of events is planned, accompanied by barbecues, smoke, colourful fireworks, and supposedly dull speeches. Today in America, we speak quieter and far less about that very civil war that lasted from 1861 to till 1865, even though it's an outstanding event in history and its outcomes are quite important for an average person overseas. Why? One of the reasons is that gloomy parallels with today become more obvious, including the promotion of civil war. It is enough to watch their recent film, Civil War. There are other very unpleasant associations. It has become clear to many that the experience of long-term confrontation between Union and slave-owning Confederates resemble the Ukraine conflict. In terms of industrial potential and human resources, the difference between the North and the South was comparable to that between today's Russia and the fuck Ukraine. Did he just say the F Ukraine? And with that, the ideals of the adversaries greatly different from the North. It was equally liberty, same law for all, while the South propagated inhuman, vertebrated racism. The foreign bastards, same as today, England and France deliberately intervened, wishing for South to win. They support slave owners, then in the same way they support Nazi Kiev today, together with the present-day US. The parallels are more than obvious, and all the more unpleasant for the left liberal establishment that runs the US mass media. In America, the president of Russia is sometimes even likened to Abraham Lincoln. Take, for example, this telling headlines: Vladimir Lincoln invaded Ukraine to preserve the cohesion of the Union. For Washington, there are many unpleasant allusions with the political and diplomatic aspects of the special military operation and the Civil War of the 19th century, including its outcomes. As well known, Lincoln Republican president eventually won the war. Unlike their demented leader, Biden's Democratic Party, comrades haven't completely lost their memory. They know that Lincoln's victory became part of the world's history. His name is revered in Europe and Latin America and Africa for real. Accomplishments, and absolutely not because his portrait adorns banknotes. Yet the White House buffoons of today, like some mediocre Blinken, as well as the sullen elderly of the Senate, would not even dream of that. The senseless and important propaganda of the White House of today is desperately looking for an epiphany in a history book. They bring in the narrative that Ukraine is kind of acting like Britain in 1940-41. They proclaim if the little man with red, shifty eyes wearing a shabby Katak shirt, the new Churchill. They demand that an old geezer with his mouth half open who can hardly stand upright become the new Roosevelt, probably hinting that the future US president would like to rule from a wheelchair due to poor health. However, the demented old man is no FDR, which is why the public winces in disbelief. America is a country with short history, however hurtful this might be the Americans, but there are some bright pages in it. One of them is precisely the Civil War, which marked victory over slavery. This is the angle for overseas public to look at what has happened here. In essence, a civil war among the same people in which the majority are forced to defend their independence with weapons, fighting against the new Nazis who are once again supported by corrupt Europe and American military industrial complex. And just like the 19th century, the outcome of this war should be unification of our country, the revival of the great Russia. P.S. Hey, you Americans, to paraphrase that Trump of yours, make Russia great again.
Yo,
What the hell is this?
wait, what happened?
Jesus, this guy sounds like a. The Russians are intelligent.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Fucking hell. He drew parallels from the Civil War of America to what's happening in Ukraine.
Oh,
He drew
that is
parallels
scary.
that America and the Civil War affect America. He draws parallels to the fact that America might just be about to usher into a civil war.
Yeah, anyone making arguments against that, they're not going to recover for a long time. Yeah, that's going to be hard to argue against.
The fact that he drew parallels from 1971, right? And I do say the fact is that the fact that they think that the British won. They fact that yes, the Americans won on paper, but you don't think those governors, right? You don't think they signed enough money? You don't think those governors were willing to sign a check to basically become loyal to Britain, or basically, you don't think these people, quite honestly, were willing to basically become. Some people say, "Oh, what would you guys say if Britain became a vassal territory of America after the American Revolution, or was it America effectively became a vassal territory? Yes, they were granted independence, but in name only. Who knows? And then, so what else is there?
Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I meant to tell you guys this. I meant to tell you guys this, like, a while ago. But I'm not gonna lie. A couple days ago, I was on something called Omade TV, and I ran into this guy called John Minadio the second.
Manadio.
John DiMaggio. Yes, he was a Republican New York mayor, wasn't he? I think he was.
Well, according
John DiMaggio sounds familiar. Sounds like it was.
I sent it in the chat. I googled him and I sent it in the chat. But like, pretty much, what I got from him was pretty much like, he's all about white supremacy, and he's apparently
yeah.
he's apparently a neo-Nazi, and yeah, he runs a group called, like, he's a conspiracy theorist too, and they call his group a hate group called Goyim Defense League or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but
like, I legitimately ran into. He was talking about the Jews too, and I'm like,
there was this guy, if I remember correctly, I was watching, like,
it's like, dang. I mean,
the guy was talking about the.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He was pretty racist, but I'm like, dang, what did I do?
What was he racist about?
I guess he doesn't like black people. I don't know, but I wasn't really arguing. I was kind of laughing because it was a little bit funny, but also I was like, dang, what did I do, man? I'm just wondering.
But remember, right? These people, to a certain extent, some of these people are a little bit cuckoo. But yeah,
I mean, he was. I mean,
it's just they.
But I gotta give him this though. He had a nice beard. Bro, he had a nice beard, bro. It's like, I'm like, dang, bro. Like, I was just looking at his beard the entire time, and I was like, man, I wish I could grow a beard. Like, I think he also goes by, like, the Handsome Truth or something. I don't know why. I think that's one of his nicknames. But like, yeah, I bumped into the guy, and I'm like, I would like to try and talk to the guy, but I'm pretty sure he's just gonna like insult me. I don't know. He's a white supremacist, so I mean, hey, he's proud of it too.
Ah.
Yeah, he's proud of it too. It's like he said he wears it proudly. I'm like, you know what? I can't even be mad at this guy because like, yeah. I mean, I think he was trying to get me to say, "Do I hate white people?" I'm like, no, I love white people, man. I said, no, I love white people. And he has his own I think he has his own website too. And I'm like,
Okay.
but it's like he's interesting, but like he's very. I'd say his rhetoric is very dangerous. I don't know. It's like he's interesting though.
He's in a danger zone.
Yeah, it's kind of funny actually. But it's like, dang, I didn't even know who the guy was before. I thought it was just like someone making an editor, an AI or something like that. Because I tried to look up the guy and I couldn't find anything on the internet until I actually got his real name. So I literally just bumped into his Twitter while I was scrolling through stuff.
Okay.
Or his quote unquote parody account. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, interesting guy. Obviously, his rhetoric is dangerous, but I mean, well, what he's pushing, but there's
But
some
he has the courage to say them.
pretty much, yeah. He has the courage to say them, and that is respectable. That is respectable.
Yeah, I respect that too.
He has
having courage like that.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, and also he does believe that white people should have more kids with white people. And although I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. He says something about along the lines as the Jewish people pushed interracial stuff, and I'm like, I'm not really sure if that's true, but to an extent, I can kind of see that being a thing. But at the same time, I don't really care. Like that is the least. I'll be honest. That's the least that I think that I care about the most. I mean, I get that you don't want your race to be extinct, but it's like, dang, bro, you don't have to be like that.
Well, someone had to at some point.
That's true.
What were you saying?
What happened?
What were you guys saying?
Oh yeah, I was pretty much like we were talking about the same guy, and I'm like he also believes yeah, white people should have more kids. I'm like yeah, I
They should. I'm not. I don't class myself as a racist, but I will say this. I don't want to get rid of the freaking people that we've got, right?
Me neither.
All the freaking foreigners around that we've got in our country right now, right? But I just don't want to let any more fucking in. I don't want to look the ethnic population of my fucking country to be ethnic, at least in my local area, to be ethnically fucking race swapped.
Look, I'll say this.
If you want to come here to this country legally, fine. I think we should keep net migration capped at a certain limit, right?
Yeah.
Outflows and inflows, right? I don't think we should be raising it, and I think we need to fucking dramatically lower it.
But I will say this though. I mean, I can understand if anybody says they want to keep it in the race. I get it. It's like you don't want. I get it. I do. Because
I get it. Well, I don't think you really want to see your.
I wouldn't.
See more people come in.
I wouldn't want to see my.
I actually think it would be a smart move to fucking annex Mexico, right, and just incorporate into our country, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see my race being extinct either. So I mean, I get it, but at the same time,
move to incorporate Mexico, right, and just allow them to live in their own areas, right, and give them a better standard of living.
Yeah,
Mexico at some point. When does it come to the point? I even think Trump will probably just invade Mexico.
Yeah, I agree. And for the most part, it's I just don't. Obviously, I wouldn't want any race to be extinct. Obviously, man, and honestly, it's I wouldn't get rid of anybody in the country either. Obviously, I'd want them to be legal citizens. But
Election Starmer flew in a private jet yesterday to tell yet another constituent they must be poorer and colder through harder net zero policies to save the planet. No, you mean you want us to fucking starve ourselves, get rid of our fucking farmland, and basically fucking make our country poorer, just so you and your elite WEF buddies can take us over and buy us for cheap.
Wow. So, is there anything else in the news?
Well, let me see. Reform. No, power might effectively be bought by Skydance.
Wait, what is she putting on her head? I'll look at that. Actually, let me see.
Children being sold in plastic bags in Africa. Come on, flag shaggers. Where's your outrage? What is wrong with Africans? Why are you selling children in bags?
Now, for real though, why? Why would they do that?
And they say slavery was gotten rid of.
Hold on. Actually, yeah. Here's his account. Wait, you said slavery was gotten rid of? You said. Hold on. What did you send? What did you send? Oh wait. Well, let me see. You sent something. Oh, and I sent you the guy I was talking about. You can just check out his profile if you want. Children are being sold out of plastic bags and what are they doing?
Sandy Hook victims' homes were given to them for free prior to the shooting. Someone explained to me why Sandy Hook's victims' homes were paid off prior to shooting. The homes were given to them for free. All I'm doing is raising questions and presenting the data here. You be the judge. It's a little bit concerning.
I feel like people do these things just to get a reaction out of us, and somehow, it's kind of working. Well, that doesn't
Yeah,
mean they can continue doing it again.
Can you guys still hear me?
If you're on the council waiting list for a house, good luck after tomorrow, because the Ginger Growler, aka Angela Rayner, has said every borough in the UK will have to take at least 1,300 immigrants, illegals. Remember that when you cast your vote. That's why I voted Reform.
Did you say every constituency?
Every borough and constituency, effectively.
Can you guys still hear me?
Wouldn't surprise me under a Labour government. You also got to remember this, Jamie. The logic of voting Labour. Labour run Wales, bankrupt. Socialists run Scotland, bankrupt. Labour run councils, bankrupt. Last Labour government, bankrupt. Labour government before that, bankrupt. Global socialism, bankrupt. Why does nobody learn? Baffles me. Working class people fucked.
Oh, hello. You guys there?
Hello, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Anyways, what are you guys up to? Sorry, I had to leave.
A liberal has a meltdown over seeing an American flag.
Is this woman black?
What do you mean?
Because I just saw a video. I just saw a video a couple of hours ago where a woman was calling the American flag racist or something like that.
No, it was a bloke, sadly.
Oh.
Which is kind of concerning because you would think men would be patriotic about their country, but no, this freaking liberal hates his country.
What? Then get out of the country.
Exactly. Like, why are you mad at a freaking flag?
It's like, bro.
Yeah, America, then please leave. You would be doing us all a favor. Move to Canada, where you can be buddy relations with freaking Trudeau.
Buddy relation with Trudeau.
Labour, where's my free stuff? There's nothing's free. You're paying for it somewhere down the line. Tommy Robinson, he apparently voted Reform.
Huh.
Interesting.
Okay.
The law is not dealing with these pedophiles. Fucking migrants are trying to freaking link up with freaking minors.
Really?
Rich minors.
Really?
Underagers.
Of course.
And they recorded it as well.
Bro, we got to get half these people out of.
This is probably happening in your country as well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so that's why I said that. That's why I said
someone else's children tomorrow. Your children. We need mass deportation.
Yeah, that's why I said these countries.
Like, well, immigrant ask a 15-year-old for her number. The girl is in her school uniform, and he's harassing her like it's actually a normal thing to do, even though she said she's 15. Doesn't stop him.
From his country, it must be legal. I don't know.
They've started cracking them with golf clubs in Ireland. Can't see the Scousers tolerating that much longer. Disgrace.
Otherwise, in me, is more pedophiles coming to the rise, man.
It's because it's by design. Eric. It's by design. The whole thing. Except we can be gay, bigots. Then, let me indoctrinate your kids, bigots. Then, let me have sex with your underage daughter, bigots. That's what it's coming to. They're going to make sex. They're going to freaking reduce the amount of the age of consent and make it so it's non-existent effectively in the future. Wouldn't be surprised. But that's because all the rich people are pedophiles.
They are.
It's fucking obvious.
Well, yeah.
It is obvious because if they're freaking Jeffrey. Well, we're at it. When we're talking about this,
I mean, yeah, pretty.
Starmer was friends with Jimmy Savile.
I'll be honest.
Good chums with Jimmy Savile. Why are we voting a guy that was friends with Jimmy Savile?
I'm not gonna lie. As for these rich pedophiles, bro, I feel like because they're human, they have a sense of guilt for doing it, but somehow they numb that guilt and still continue to do it. Like they somehow combat that guilt with something. And
This caveman sent me a legal letter from Muslim lawyers threatening me for calling him a caveman who legitimizes pedophilia. My response video will be out this week. Basically, fuck you, caveman, and fuck your lawyers.
wait, who's the wait, who we talking about?
It's Tommy Robinson going against this. Why is Muhammad Najab not in jail?
Oh yeah,
This is coming from a Zionist.
I mean, he's right. He's right, bro. Muhammad Hijab literally, admitted.
Announced conception, announcing conception. Illuminati I, Great Architect Lucifer. Novus Ordo Seclorum, Secular New Order. 13 letters in the moat. El Pluribus Umma, one of many. 13 illuminated stars. 13 enlightened colonies. E.g., 13 Jewish settlers, 13 layers of brick, 13 original colonies, 72 bricks, 72 powers of the name of God in Quabala. Mindodox, 1776, date Illuminati formed. MDCCLXXVI, date the Illuminati formed. MDCCLXXVI equals 666. 13 arrows, 13 leaves, 13 berries, different powers possessed by the 13 colonies, e.g., the 13 tribes of Israel.
With these.
Phoenix is not an eagle rising from the ashes or ignorant worlds. This is basically looking at a $1 bill. The secret: tail feathers, 9 spheres, risen through to return to heavenly state. 9 spheres. Ain't that 9 tail feathers, 9 spheres, risen through to return to heavenly state? Ain't that something familiar? Like 9 spears or 9 spears rising and coming back to God, to the heavenly state.
Can you say that one more time?
Here's it for yourself in the chat.
Oh yeah, I see it.
The U.S. government is all Illuminati.
I'll say this: everything in this world always leads back to God.
If you look at that eagle, right? Doesn't that look a little bit like Bahamut?
Wait, who? Muhammad?
No, look at the eagle underneath the 13 stars. Doesn't that look like Bakhmut?
Bakhmut.
Bahamut, the demon, the demon, basically the thing that Satanists worship.
Oh, I know who he's talking about. Yeah, I know who he's talking about.
If you look at the thingy, right, with the wings, right, and you look at the eagle, right?
Yeah, I see it.
It kind of looks like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can definitely see it. And for the most part, yeah, it's like I'm just not surprised, bro. Everything always leads back to God at the end of the day.
Freemasonry is very.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I've been like doing research, and there was this one preacher who was a 31 level Mason. I think it was Billy Graham. Like I've heard about that, but at the end of the day, it's like what he was preaching was right. It's just that people were saying he was a Freemason.
Freemason. The thing is, though, Freemasons are the highest secular order of effectively part of the secular order. Again, have you ever questioned? These voters, right? The people that count the votes, right? Have you ever questioned? At least in the UK, I've always questioned. How are these people determined? How do they get the job as a vote counter? Is this something done by the secret societies or Freemasons?
I don't know. I guess so.
Because effectively, like who allows these people to vote to count the votes, and how do they get the job of counting the votes?
That's a good question.
Yes. Nobody ever talks about that.
I'll be honest. How do Freemasons get up there and famous, bro?
How do they get there?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie.
Selling their soul to Satan.
Because
they're selling their soul.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's like I'm not gonna lie, because there's probably a good amount of Freemasons who aren't even famous or just regular people. But I guess it depends on the situation, because you know what I think I found this out about Drake like probably a week ago, but I don't think Drake is like really Jewish, but it's because he was around the Jewish like like community
Lifestyle.
lifestyle that you know he was considered one of them. So in a way, it's kind of like a club invite.
Satanic rituals killings are carried out in every country by those you are encouraged to trust and obey.
Yeah, so pretty much he was invited to the club because he was doing what they said.
Effectively,
Yes.
Hollywood.
But
Don't be surprised if Sunak is part of the Illuminati or Freemasons. Don't be surprised. Also, we need to look, if you want to look into 10 companies control nearly everything we eat and drink. It's providable. Mondelez, Mondelez, which is Cadbury, Mars, which is Ringling, Danone, which is the freaking. Every time I look at that, I always think, what is communism?
Briefly, communism is an economical ideology where the state has majority of control of all goods and services. At the minimum, most of the goods and services.
What's the difference between communism and capitalism at the end of the day?
So,
One pretends to. No, you go ahead.
all right. So, capitalism encourages privatization of businesses. It encourages a free market with private businesses to provide goods and services at their own accord, whilst communism, briefly, all of the goods and services companies and businesses within that country, it is all owned and controlled under the state government.
Or the same people.
Yes, that too.
Communism is just a nice way for saying I think communism is more real, if I'm being honest. I don't like communism, but I think it's more real, right? They're brutally honest with you. They realize tell the people how it is. You are serfs. You have no power, and effectively, our select few people in the world will control. Select few people in the country control the wealth. Whereas capitalism, they pretend like everybody has a chance and everybody can be rich, and effectively, they hide it through shell companies and all this other little hoodah and hoorah. And they like to lie and say, "Oh, we don't own everything, own the world."
Well, they do,
Well, they
because
do.
if they have enough money, they can do anything. That's all it is. If you have enough money, you can do whatever you want and get away with a lot of things as you like.
This is something that is. What was his name again? What's the guy that literally likes to buy off politicians?
A lobbyist?
No, the actual George Soros, right? Guys like him, right? He got famous, he got rich, very wealthy, right? And then he realized, I fancy myself as being a god. And now he said in a future interview, I used to fancy myself as a god. Now I'm actually in a position to actually be a god.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Because he can.
I think I remember him saying this in an interview once.
Here's the thing: he can still die. He can still die. He can still feel pain. He cannot rise from the dead. So therefore, he's not a god. Come on. Yeah, he may be rich, but you're not a god. Come on now. Without that money, you're just like everyone else.
This is how thick some of these people sound like. These very wealthy Jewish people sound like. They view themselves as gods, God's chosen people.
I don't even.
They treat like serfs.
Personally, I don't even consider them real Jewish people.
They're not even Jews. Again, there's this. They're fake Jews.
Yeah,
I supposedly have Jewish blood in me, and I don't even consider myself a Jew. I despise Zionists.
Wait, you have Jewish blood in you?
Mother says I have a part. My mother says I'm part. Yes, supposedly.
Wow.
Through my great grand, something like that. Which is not surprising. It's kind of not surprising. I always thought I did. Doesn't mean I actually believe I am. And even then, remember Hitler actually sided. A lot of Jews actually sided with Hitler.
Wow. Huh? Really?
They don't talk about that, but a lot of them did. A lot of them were very high up in his government. Did you know that they apparently created a patent for application for a hurricane to make hurricanes? Imagine what other patents the U.S. government has in lock and key.
Like
maybe how to
like the Earth is flat, which it isn't.
Maybe creating direct energy weapons, flying cars.
Interesting.
Time travel.
Time travel, possibly, yes. There is rumored there's funny things with the Trump family in time travel.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love to travel back in time to I don't know, look around maybe.
I'd like to go back to World War II.
Just
Just to see what would have happened if things changed.
you probably wouldn't understand what they're saying though, because
Maybe England. Yeah.
I mean, if there was like somehow an English translation on the time machine, then, but I don't think you would understand a word they're saying. I think you would have to like record it and then kind of just cipher the sounds, cipher the the language, so that you can get a better understanding in English. Obviously when you're back in your own time. But yeah, it's like I don't know.
Was Bournemouth the only place to put Reform Party at the top of the poll? I actually think I was at the. I think it was actually Reform was actually the top of the poll where I was as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, very intriguing indeed.
So we'll hear from tomorrow.
Or maybe somewhere straight after 10 p.m. when little by little the results will start be counting.
Do you think Reform will get any candidates?
Like get seats?
I want to know they'll get seats.
Well, it is guaranteed that at least Farage and Lee Anderson will get their seats.
They did get a couple local elections.
Yes, they did.
The last one. Is that a good sign that maybe they'll do extremely well this election?
Well, it's hard to tell because even though polls say that Reform is going to get like single-digit seats, the online presence tell a different story. But we need to know about.
But we also need to know, are they going to rig the votes? Because they're going to rig the votes. It doesn't matter because they can do. I suspect that they'll probably try and rig the votes. That's why I wrote it with a fucking pen. Reform.
Yeah.
Because I had a hunch that they were going to try and rig it. I even told my parents, bring a pen. They didn't vote for. They didn't. I don't think they voted Reform. They voted Lib Dem supposedly. Both of them. I think was making a joke saying I voted Green. I don't think the Green wasn't on a ballot here. Sadly. It'll be interesting seeing what the American elections do. I'm surprised that Biden hasn't decided I'm not running.
Oh yeah, I'm not running.
Did you guys see the video I sent where basically they were trying to woo Bibi Netanyahu like a South Park episode where
I've seen that.
War crimes.
Oh my gosh.
You remember seeing? Did you see that video I sent you?
Yeah, I did see that video.
Yeah.
You know what would be even more funnier?
What?
What South Park actually put that into an actual episode?
No, like some people actually looked up to Joe Biden, bro. It's like
Fuck. Maybe the old Joe, but now he's not. Joe's dead. I thought it was hilarious the fact they're both. But it's true.
Like
though.
you,
Like,
wait, Riz, do you fully believe that this Joe Biden is like a clone or just not the real one?
He's an actor with a face mask. Let's be real here. Joe Biden died well before the election, right?
So like, I'll be honest.
Biden's been dead for years.
The old Joe, he talked clearly. That's the Joe that I'd probably vote for.
I wouldn't vote for Joe at all because I don't believe in Democrat policies.
I'm saying like if I still had the same mindset and that Joe back then was running for president, that's probably the Joe I'd vote for.
I think there's still Americans, especially in New York and in the cities, that actually still believe in Joe Biden. Even though I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, no. I think the sane people don't. But again, I'll say this again. Most of California is Republican. It's conservative. It's only LA and San Bernardino. It's only LA and effectively Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is affecting California, ain't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's only Hollywood. It's effectively LA and San Bernardino, and basically San Bernardino, right? Other than that, most of California and maybe Malibu as well. Malibu is probably Democrat, right? But other than that, right, all the other areas are freaking conservative as hell or Republican. In New York, every area apart from the fucking boroughs close to New York, right, are freaking apart from all the cities, all the districts. One's actually in New York City. Every other district in New York is Republican. The cities hold these states hostage. All of them are Republican. It's just the cities have that much grip and much power that they freaking hold them captive. Sadly, like Minnesota's probably like that, right? There's probably a lot of districts in Minnesota that are actually Republican. It's just that the cities and the urban areas are actually
mostly Democrats.
Yes. I even brought this up with my parents. Like, realistically, all the cities, if we got rid of the cities, right, and let them form their own country, right? Got rid of the cities, man, made them their own little districts, right? Independent city-states, right? We'd effectively get rid of we would get rid of the liberals, unless they start coming here, but...
True that.
No, true that.
Well, they can't say we're racist because black people have been voting reform.
And as for the candidates,
there's a guy.
they're racial minorities.
They're all minorities, right? So how the fuck can you?
Oh, Risk. You know that.
How the hell can they class us as racist?
Risk. Well, they'll find a way to.
They'll find a way. Yes, they tried to smear the guy and say, "Oh, he's a fucking racist." When in the newspapers they tried to paint him as a racist, yet half his candidates are freaking minorities. How the fuck does that work out?
I think people just know racism in general is bad and say you're racist because we don't agree with your opinions. We think you're bad.
Always jump to the fact, oh, if you want Nigel Farage, you're a fascist, you're a Nazi, right? Yet they don't even know what a fascist is. These liberals.
Wait, did you?
Liberal women don't even know what a fascist is. They haven't read Karl Marx. They haven't read Mao Zedong's literature, Little Red Book. They haven't read the freaking Soviet freaking books.
If you don't vote for me, you're not really black.
Yeah, again, like
that's not racist.
How the hell?
You're not a race if you don't vote for someone.
Again, how the hell these Democrats didn't?
Why?
Think you're a fucking racist.
I don't get that.
Why the fuck? How the fuck they didn't call that old guy out for that? It's ridiculous.
Are you talking about Joe?
Oh yeah, how the hell he didn't get freaking flack from that is beyond me.
I don't know.
Wait, the media fucking are owned by the Democrats and freaking kiss their arses. They can basically. I'm surprised Gavin Newsom's not been sacked. Muhammad, close the bloody borders, use the military if you have to. Basically, this 47-year-old tried to exploit a 14-year-old British girls, caught and arrested.
Bro, there's a bunch of pedophiles, just on the rise.
Oh, yeah.
They've been allowing them.
They're like, bro, they're like now.
They're the lowest scum I've ever heard. Honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, bro. It's like, there's just like. I'll be honest. I think there's always been pedophiles, but it's like in this day and age, bro, it's like they have never been just so open like before. Like legit, it's weird.
Spain government flew 180 immigrants from Africa during the night while everyone slept. Upon landing, they were taken on buses and to hotels. Buses and hotels are paid by the Spanish taxman.
Did you know that if it wasn't for this one lawyer in the UK, people wouldn't be taking immigrants to hotels in the first place? And do you know who that lawyer is?
Me. I'm kidding. Who's the lawyer?
Keir Starmer.
Interesting.
Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party. He was our lawyer who suggested to the government that immigrants should be given to hotel.
I think I brought this up to you, yes, that he should have the rights, right? He's the reason why we're having to fucking flock and pay money for these fucking hotspots. Yeah, and he's now running for government. And you think he's not going to fuck us up even more?
The thing is, there isn't going to be much stint against him if people don't know about these kind of stuff.
Because they try, and the media's a fucking bunch of... The reason is a lot of the people, right? Unless you're young like us, right? The fucking old timers, right? They're a bunch of they have no free will or free thought. They're a bunch of zombies. They pretend they freaking have free will and free thought, but they still listen to the TV, still vote for the same people, and they still effectively vote for the two-party solution. Vote Labour or vote Conservative. So who becomes the main opposition next?
Well,
Because I doubt the Tories are going to freaking be opposition.
Well, yes. However, if it's going to be Armageddon for the Tories, like the results is really, really bad, it's likely Lib Dems could be the voice of opposition because that Labour isn't the only party making gains in seats. Lib Dems are also gaining seats specifically in the South.
Do you actually think they'd be a good opposition?
I've never said whether or not they'll be a good opposition. I'm just saying Lib Dems could possibly be an opposition, and I don't think there's going to be much challenge with Labour when
There
the
won't.
election is over.
No, there won't be much challenge. They'll effectively go the same thing. They'll be for taxes to oblivion, fucking us.
I think the only thing they would argue against is the stance on Gaza, because I
India's
think
supposedly going to meet with Putin on the 8th and 9th. Moody's going to be traveling to Russia on July 8th to 9th to meet with President Putin. This must piss America off, right? But all their allies are coming in. Do America and the West secretly?
go on.
Be honest, not Elon Musk. Do you think the 2020 election was stolen from Trump?
Yes,
The
because
evidence,
you know why?
the evidence points to it. So yeah.
The evidence points to it. The fact that in Georgia, there's been cases of voter fraud, and it's been proven that it was voter fraud. And not to mention, there's pictures of freaking trucked in ballots.
And also, and this is a big one, the mail-in ballots that coming from voters that aren't even alive anymore.
Yes.
So
Can I be honest?
how on earth is anyone going to argue against that?
I think they're going to use dead voters in the UK. I think
Yeah,
they're going to use. I think they will use dead voters in this UK election.
Yeah, like that went well in the last election. They'll do it again in this election.
I think they'll use that in the British election. Sadly,
Well, we'll have to wait till there's evidence proving that in the next few years. But even then, it'll be already too late for the majority of people knowing this information. And even if people do find out, like the majority of people, they're going to say, "Oh, this happens because there's like a clause in policies and in this act and so on." So it's a stretch, but
why is there still people wearing masks?
I don't know. It's been 4 years.
unless we don't know something.
Well, you should know. You know more than us.
Yes, that is true. I know a lot of things, sadly. And of course,
So when's
I didn't choose the life I live in.
So when's the
Go on.
pandemic coming?
Last I remember, 2025 rings a bell for
You
sure.
know they're rigging the election.
It's not about who, it's about what's going to be rigged.
What's going to be rigged?
The system in which they are counting the votes. It doesn't matter who is behind the ropes and who is counting the votes and who's involved in the election. It's about the process. And any faults in the process could be a change in how seats are won for each party. That's all I can say.
If it was,
Or at least all I know.
if there wasn't
That's-
any, if it was all loyal and people were actually trying to do it, and everything was fair, right? I would say Reform would get a shitload of seats and they would probably win. But knowing how evil these people are, and how desperate these are,
and the voting and how the system works.
how the system works, and the fact that we basically discussed that there's AI candidates or fake candidates in Reform's ballots, which effectively could be run by actors.
Why haven't done the AI candidates sooner?
They have. There's a couple candidates running as AI, but don't ask why, but they are. I think we should end this here. It's been
All right.
long.
Sure was.
Bye.
Cheerio.